Hey everybody, as you can see, I've got the garden ready. I've got the irrigation all done. I did it just the way Leesville Aquaponics told me to do it. So if it's wrong, go over to his channel, subscribe, and then complain to him. I've got, you'll notice a line back here on a return. He suggested to me that he likes using a return, especially where the soil's a bit bumpy and it's not nice and smooth, because you get more equal pressure throughout the entire system. So that's what I'm doing. I've got my water starts off screen to the far right as you're viewing it, back behind the tractor where the main line is, and then it comes across the field, and I've got this return line so that the pressure can equalize out across the whole system. All right, so I've got my Haas Tools garden seeder here. I've loaded it up with my first row, which is going to be a type of spinach. I came over here with the plate in one position, and I'm just going to rotate it to the position where I know it lets the seed out, and I'm going to tighten that back up. Alright, so here's what happened. I thought I got smart. If you go and look at the video on how to put this thing together, you can see that the hopper tray can be set in a couple different positions. You can set it in a couple different ways, but there's only one way that everything will come down a hole that goes to the ground. And I thought I was Mr. Smarty Pants, and I put the seed in way over there where I shot the video before, but I just offset it so that the seeds couldn't fall out on my way to the garden. And then my plan was to get over here and do a little quarter turn and put it in place and feel real proud of myself. That doesn't work. So first lesson learned, either I should have just put it the way it belongs and picked up the back wheel so that it didn't turn the plate and therefore wasn't going to push anything around, wouldn't push any seed out, or I should have just waited and done it all over here. So now let's do that little sanity check again, make sure seeds actually fall out. And now I'm getting seed. Okay. All right, so there we go. That's why we take time to test things with new stuff. All right. Okay, so what I'm doing is following right close. I think I'm gonna try this. Wonder if I can do it. No, that's not gonna work. I'm gonna look like a fool, do the duck walk here. I'm gonna go right next to this drip tape, and then later, when I come back in a couple weeks, I'll do that again. I'm just gonna follow the drip tape, but I'll go on the other side. So this can still keep growing all the way. And I can make more use out of just this one little bed. So that's one reason why I did the drip tape first. One recommendation that Leesville Aquaponics gave to me was put down the drip tape and just use it as a guide. So even if I don't walk a perfectly straight line, at least I'm walking the line where the water is going to be. So that's what I'm doing here. So let's see, first pass wasn't too bad. So the part of this is doing all of the work up ahead of time to trust the equipment, to test that the seed plate's right, to right there, right before I walk down the row, spinning the back wheel just a little bit to make sure seed drops. Because once you start walking, you just gotta trust the machine that it's doing what it's supposed to do. And there's just no other way to do it. There's, even if I tried to go back and uncover this row, I just laid down spinach seed. I'm not gonna find that. There's just no way to do it. So all I can do is trust that, I can tell that there's less seed in the hopper. I know I put a reasonable amount of effort into it beforehand to test things, to make sure that the seed plate was right. And now all I can do is water appropriately and wait for it to germinate. So that's it. Let's get some more stuff in the ground. Okay, so all that talk about what side I was planning on and why, this is one of the exceptions. I'm going to plant on either side of this the same Monte Carlo romaine lettuce. But here's the kicker. One of them is pelleted, and the other one is just plain seed. So what we're going to do is this row is going to be an experiment to see if paying the just a couple extra pennies for the pelleted varieties, for the pelleted seed, is worth it, or what does the difference really look like. So on one side, we're going to, on the front side, or on left side of the camera, we're going to do the pelleted, mostly just because I've already got the correct seed plate in here. So we're going to do pelleted on this side, then we're going to change our seed plate and do the non-pelleted on the north side. So we got that in place. Let's get our seeder in place. I'm going to do our sanity check here, and I got seed. All right, so here we go. You'll notice the irrigation, that only ran for about 15 minutes. That was just me setting the timer on manual and checking to see that it was really all hooked up right and I didn't have any leaks and things like that. So that's not the amount of watering that'll be done normally. All right, put us back up on our kickstand and switch it over. Okay, now in reality, I could have just turned right around where I was and walked back in the row rather than come all the way around, but I didn't want to talk to you while I was wiggling my butt at you. So I came all the way back over here, and now we're going to put down the non-pelleted romaine lettuce. So let me do my little sanity check. It sure is harder to see the non-pelleted seed. Oh yeah, I'm dropping them. All right. So now you may be asking yourself if I've got a hypothesis on what's really going to happen doing these two different ways. Well, I do. I think that the pelleted version is going to come up nice and uniformly, plants every few inches kind of thing. And I think that the non-pelleted seed is going to come up in little clumps, and it's going to take a lot more thinning. May even run a risk of having a few areas where it doesn't, where they clogged up and it doesn't come out at all. So we'll just have to see, but that's my hypothesis, that they'll grow, but they won't be as uniform, which means we really just could have spent a whole lot more seed doing that row than we did the other row. So the pelleted might work out better in a cost-saving effort by just not using as much seed. So we'll just have to see how it goes.